So Amitabh, I was just wondering that in today's world, where there are so many management institutes which have come up, both private and government, and so many people graduating out of these management institutes every day, how does today's management aspirants, or guys who are actually into this management institutes, differentiate themselves or create an edge for themselves when they come out of this management colleges?
Things have really changed since the time I completed my MBA in '97. Those days there were fewer specializations available. Now there are plenty of them, which gives you a chance to really pursue something where your heart and mind lies. But some basic fundamentals, I would say, or facts remain what they were even then. Do all the students who come out of these institutes go on to lead their organizations, become CEOs, become as successful as the rest? Not really. But we also have students coming from those institutes which are probably not considered top run, and maybe not as many, but quite a few of them also go on to lead organizations, do extremely well in their careers. So if we start with this presumption or this sort of belief that an MBA program is going to be the end all and it's going to really transform the person who is doing the course and make him or her into something completely different and then going to hold steady for the rest of the professional career, that may not be the right sort of view. An MBA course prepares you in the best way possible, perhaps, to take your first few steps in the corporate world, in the formal business world, so to say, you know, which has a formal organization, which has formal hierarchies, and the MBA course prepares you to take your first few steps in that corporate environment. Because if you take my example, I started out as an advertising professional, and it was not a case of me choosing the job rather than the job choosing me. Because the year when I passed out, those were not really glorious days for campus placements. And the advertising job sort of came my way. I took it. It was a good multinational firm. And then for pretty much 2 years, I just floated around. At which time another opportunity came my way, and I made my switch into financial services and payments. Point I'm trying to make here is that what you start your career out with does not necessarily need to define what you're going to thereafter make your specialization or your area of expertise. But that doesn't mean that the relevance of the MBA program that you did or relevance of what you learned over there in any way, gets lowered. It just gives you that foundation. It prepares you for your initial stint, and thereafter it's up to you to keep growing as a professional, as a person.
Well, Amitabh, I couldn't agree with you more when you said that MBA is actually a career course and that it equips with you with a lot of tools and a lot of knowledge which can be applied by you when you go to the professional world. But then before you step into the professional world, normally all MBA courses are expected to flow into job placements. That's the time the student is faced with a dilemma about which companies to choose from. And there could be a student who has that options to choose. What, in your opinion, should be the parameter on which a student decides which organization to join and which should he leave out?
So there was this supervisor I had, manager, excellent person, extremely bright, passed out of the best institutes, and a very easygoing, very approachable boss. I still remember, one incident where some of us were sitting with him in his cabin, and somehow the whole conversation veered towards how should you decide what should be your next best role in the organization. And I would like to sort of share with everyone what he said, though it may not be extremely relevant for those people who are just starting their careers, but at some point in time in your career, it will become relevant. So he said, I have a very simple principle of choosing, my roles or my, or the jobs that I would aspire for. So he said, first of all, choose an industry which is growing. That should be your first, funnel. If you are a very bright chap and you extremely competent, but you work in an industry which is going downhill. So, for instance, let's say if you work uh, in the camera industry, which uses film rolls, everybody knows that business is probably going to be extinct soon. Howsoever good you might be in your job or in your professional skills, probably it's not going to take you far. Having selected the industry, so he said always choose the industry which is doing better than the rest. Now within that industry, choose an organization which is going faster than the rest. So if you let's say have chosen banking, banking is a very attractive industry. A lot of people like to be a part of the banking and financial services industry. It's a white collar job in the true sense of the word, and it has a certain respectability attached to it. So within that industry, you got to go for the organization which is growing the fastest, because probably it will take your career places, and you will grow much faster than the rest of your peers. Now, having done that selection, what you should do within an organization is to select a function which is more relevant than the rest. It's important to figure out your specialization. It's important to figure out the industry that you're going to go in and map that with the skills that you have acquired and that you have. It is important to have a cracker of a resume, and it is extremely important to practice how your interview is going to go. Or let's say if you got something which is called an elevator speech. Let's say if you only got 2 minutes of time with someone, and you had to say everything about yourself and your skills in those 2 minutes. How would you do that? Everybody should have an elevator speech ready.
Thank you so much for that. And I still have one last question. A lot of fresh job aspirants, MBA job aspirants, they are torn between a decision about which one to select, a better pay package or a better role in an organization. What, in your opinion, should be the priority for a student?
Well, barring probably the 5% or maybe even lower, proportion of students who really get what you may categorize as fancy salaries, probably upwards of say 25 lakhs or 50 lakhs in their first job. Most others would start in the bracket of anything from say 2.5, 3 lakh to probably 15 lakhs. What is really important here is, first of all, if you are following the line of argument that I have been proposing, which is that it's important to first select the industry which is going to be stable and growing in the years to come. Your salary will pretty much be guided by the norms of that industry. There will be some industries which will pay more, and there will be some others which will probably not pay as well. Now, if you have ended up choosing a stream, an industry, a business which does not have great starting salary, but that is where your heart and mind lies, that is where your interest lies, and where you feel that maybe not in the immediate future, but overall in the longer run, you will be able to establish yourself, give a very good account of yourself, and do well. I think by all means, that is the industry that one should be choosing. It's very easy to be dazzled by glitzy salaries right in the beginning, but the point is, if it is in an industry where your skills are probably not relevant or not adequate, or it's an industry which doesn't really interest you, very soon you will run out of steam. There is also the whole marginal theory of the whole marginal value of money. So money has a diminishing marginal utility. Initially, the money that you earn will mean a lot to you, but after 5 years or 10 years of your career, you will realize that the increments that probably you are getting, or the money that you are making, is several multiples of what you started your career as. So money has far more value at the beginning of the career, and that value, I guess, progressively decreases as you go along. So therefore, if you start by putting all your efforts and all your selection into an asset which is depreciating, if I can just take an example, it's like choosing between a house and a car. A car is a depreciating asset, right? Its value goes down as time goes, whereas a house is the value of a home or real estate. It usually appreciates as time goes along. So if you are chasing money right at the beginning of your career, its value is going to go down for you, because as you make more money, the same 1 rupee that you earned at the beginning of your career and the 1 rupee that you earned after 10 years will not have the same value for you. Its significance will go down. So I guess that would be, my recommendation. It's always good though to have as good a packet as possible when you start off, but I don't think that should be the priority.
Thank you so much. I think it was a very, very informative discussion, and a lot of students who use this particular interview would benefit from this. Thank you so much.
Glad I could be of help, and I'd like to thank School Guru for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.